You are listening to the 2.5 Weebs podcast, a show where two veteran anime fans drag a newbie down the rabbit hole of waifus, isekai, and fan service, as well as the happenings in the gaming world. The show is recorded every Sunday live on the Mixer channels of Comfimus and Mr. Vengeance. Enjoy.
Chief
All right.
Julio.
Chief, yes. Chief, Chief podcast is now live. Hi, 2.5 Weebs. How you doing? This week we
Hi,
were
Chief.
doing No Guns Life,
Yes, that is it.
which is a show about like a cybernetic soldier with a gun head. He's basically been living as a private detective for how long now? Do we have any idea? After whatever kind of war that they no longer are needed for.
I don't remember them saying how long it was.
Yeah,
Same.
they never mentioned how long the war itself is. Just that there was one.
I remember
Yeah.
they used they modified people and called them extended because that's fair.
Yeah, it like what is it? It extends their capabilities because they're robot soldiers. They do all kinds of bug stuff, and our particular main character has like guns in his hands as well. Like he has like wrist bullets and
Well,
stuff.
I don't think that's really the main feature about him. I think the main feature about him is that
Is
instead of
maybe-
having a normal human head or a normal like robot head, he just has a revolver.
He has a
Yes.
giant gun for a head. You think that
Yeah.
might be important to people?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Might be a small feature. I know I have been seeing fan art a lot, and all of the fan art is literally just a trench coat with like an M1911 pistol photoshopped onto the top of it
Oh,
instead of
geez,
an
yeah.
actual head.
Gotcha.
It's a good time.
Fun.
But yeah,
So it like starts off where he is. Is he in it? Is he in his apartment? No.
he's in.
Oh,
his,
he beats
like,
the shit out of
office,
some
isn't it?
dude outside of at a bar. He like beat some dude up who was harassing some lady that he was kind of friends with, I guess.
That
Was
he's
that?
definitely not into.
No,
He's
definitely not.
definitely not into her.
No, she's definitely not into him.
Absolutely.
And of
I
course,
wouldn't
it does
say
the
that.
whole thing where this dude with a really badass looking gun head, like he gets really like embarrassed, so he gets a really cutesy face that they do kind of with the Elric brothers in.
That is exactly what I thought of.
Yeah.
It was literally just I just thought of Full Metal Alchemist when Alf
Mhm.
like the full metal armor that just looks badass all the time like just turns into like a child essentially.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I thought this was made by the same. It looked like it was made by the same people because of that, but this is actually made
no
by.
idea. Couldn't tell you.
This is, it wasn't. It was made by Madhouse.
Yep, this is Madhouse's new production.
And man, listen, it is very very pretty.
As with everything they do. Yep.
Yeah, I mean you gotta believe. So yeah, he goes and beats some people up, and then he goes back to his private detective quarters. But his landlord is yelling at him, "Hey, stop making all that racket inside of your place that you're definitely inside of right now." Like, wow, wait, I'm not in there right now. What the hell are you talking about? So obviously, he walks inside, and there is what appears to be a mechanical being with very squiggly arms, carrying a child that says, "Hey, listen, I know this looks bad, but I need you to trust me."
Oh, not to mention, as he's going home, he's also seen people or heard people talking about an extend in the area that has killed somebody and is kind of like hiding from police and stuff like
Someone
that.
who like
Yeah.
killed
So
somebody and is on
he is
the run.
aware
Killed
that
someone
there's
and has kidnapped a child, is what he's.
yeah.
is
So that's what
hears.
he knows that is going on, and then they're inside of his apartment, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So the cops show up, and he sends the cops away, like, "No, they're not here," which is kind of like, "Okay, all right, way to just get yourself
Well,
involved."
so
So the
was-
people who show
he
up
was
are the
threatening them.
are the security bureau, who are
Yes.
um uh they're kind of like cops, but not
Way
completely.
shadier.
Yeah, super shady people.
The big thing was when he was talking to the extended and the child who was carrying the child, he was like, I am going to call the cops and I'm going to get them to remove you. And before he could even dial his phone, the cops started knocking. He's like, well, how are they already here? What the hell is going on? And decided to have a change of heart and be super nice all of a sudden.
Which
then
felt, it kind of felt out of context, honestly. Like it just kind of, I don't know. Like the whole time he's like, he seems like this character who's just, I don't know. I guess it's because, he's
super
also an
stoic.
Extended. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. But all of a sudden he's like, sure, I'll go out of my way to protect this person who I do not know and know nothing about. But for some reason, I'm going to be like, I'm gonna aid and abet the people wanted by the government.
Aid and abet these criminals.
Yeah.
Or criminal singular.
Yeah. So anyway, as you go on, and the extended, like the big robot monster leaps out of his window, smashing his apartment up, which is just rude.
Yes.
And then runs away from the cops. The cops chase him down. So he takes this little boy and he calls somebody that he knows and wants to take the kid back to the orphanage or whatever. Turns out it's a trap from a nun who is not really a nun.
A fake nun.
A fake nun, or a bunch of.
But our revolver boy could see through it. He was having none of it.
Yes, because they actually like slice the. God, what are those muscles?
They cut his tendons on his hands and wrists.
Yes, and his feet too, and his feet. So he could not like run away and escape at all.
He
so
couldn't
he
run.
Noticed
he could use
that.
his hands, yeah.
So he was basically like, "Hey, this is not okay. This is not at all on the up and up." So he like,
it's pretty fucked up, man.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the nun's like, "Fuck, you caught me." So she takes off her fucking clothes.
No. She took off the nun outfit that was covering her badass
clothes.
Murderer clothes.
Oh,
yes,
I want to be very clear that she did not just get naked all of a sudden.
She was not full naked.
She took off the habit she was wearing, which is the actual word for nun clothing.
It is.
And she had her normal clothing underneath, which is not nunnish, to put it lightly.
Not at all.
Yeah, she was having none of it.
God damn it.
How many times can I fit that in?
I don't know. Please, none more.
So then she pulled out a revolver with not one barrel, but two barrels with two wheels.
Which don't even, like, the barrels are pointed weird directions. Did you notice? What the fuck kind of gun was that? Like, they were not pointed straight ahead either.
So that gun is specifically made to deal with extended.
Sure.
Yes. Well, I mean, you probably need something special considering that they're, mostly metal.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, she wins the fight because she goes to throw. No. She's about to win the fight, and then the other extended that left his apartment with the tentacle arms wraps her up.
Yep.
And then she, of course, ricochets a bullet off of the ceiling and shoots it. Because
she actually has a mechanical eye, which allows her to do that.
Yeah,
it was really lame.
What, having a mechanical eye?
Ricocheting bullets like that, please. It's fucking anime shit there.
I'm gonna use my environment to win the fight. Fuck you. I'm having none of this conversation.
All right.
So, she wins the fight. She gets the child, and our tentacle arm extended falls into what I'm assuming was a sewer.
Like, they fall way down
sewer water.
Some sewer. Because not only did the nun end up being betraying him, but they ended up like in the fucking sewers doing some shady deal. You're never ever, if you're in a situation where you're supposed to meet a nun and it's in the sewers, run away because you're gonna die.
Well,
Don't do
that's
that.
how he knew that it wasn't a nun. It was like, listen, a real nun wouldn't have met me in the sewers and would
Yeah.
have kind of freaked out when she saw that my head was not a normal human head, but a gun. And that's
like
when
she
you
was-
pull out your gun.
She was able to track him to that location, which is not normal nun behavior.
Listen, I know no nun who would track down somebody into some sewers. Like, I don't think there's any nun that would.
Also, there's the
Probably
whole
not.
fact of, based on how this guy looks, people have really bad reactions to him,
Uh-huh.
and she had
mean-
no reaction to his appearance.
She thought it was totally normal, or acted like it was totally normal, at least.
Yes.
So then our good gun boy and our tentacle boy fall down a while. And now tentacle boy is like kind of shot up in a way that means he should probably be dead. And gun boy's like, hey, the fuck, man? How are you not dead yet? And our tentacle boy says, well, you see, I'm not actually tentacle boy. I'm actually that child, and I'm controlling tentacle boy because I was experimented on in some secret society shit, and now I can control extended, and I'm controlling him to escape because they cut my tendons so I couldn't run away, and now they're stealing me away in some prison truck. Help
Yeah.
me.
So he discovers that, yeah, the kid like has some special ability where he just mind controls any of the extended.
Yeah, it's called like
Um,
resonance.
Harmony. It's called Harmony.
Harmony.
Dang
That
it.
is what it's called.
Dang
Yeah.
it.
So
It allows him to take over any extended within range of it
mhm.
forcefully. It's also highly illegal.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's definitely okay because his dad was in charge of the company.
Yeah, it turns
Because
out
of
he may
course.
be the missing son of the CEO.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
It's
of
cyberpunk as
course
fuck.
it what?
It is. This is a very, very cyberpunk show.
I said it's cyberpunk as fuck.
Ah.
Yeah. So I said,
So to end this episode, he stands in front of a train which is carrying the boy, and as you do when you're the antagonist of an anime, you punch the train and derail it, cause super soldier. And that's how
that works.
that's how the first episode ends. And then in the beginning of the second episode, he's like, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of all you guys." But first off, he talks about how he's unarmed when he's just a living gun.
Yeah, he's like,
an asshole.
aren't you guys overreacting for, against a guy who's unarmed?
Look at me, I'm unarmed. My whole body's a weapon. Fuck yourself. Don't be cocky.
Listen, if that man had a gun head and was looking at me, I would be very spooked, all right?
a little bit, a little spoopy.
I don't want to get shot.
Yeah. So he takes the boy and then he goes to a friend of his who you find out pretty quickly is kind of like his mechanic because, he's a fucking robot. So, he needs a mechanic. So it's basically Winry, another Full Metal reference. Fuck my life. I'm this guy now.
This is actually just full.
Look at Dale. He not only knew the character and what they did, was able to name the show as well. It was great.
I'm
Oh,
so
no.
proud. I
No,
feel like
you-
we've come so far. We've been doing this for almost a year, yeah?
Yeah. I still fucking
I'll
hate
get
it.
a cake.
Oh
I'll get a cake.
boy! Can it be a Full Metal Alchemist themed cake, please?
No, it'll be something that I get from the
Okay.
Albertsons bakery. I'm not gonna go and get something custom commissioned. Are you kidding
Fine.
me? I'm broke as shit.
Fine.
You are? Since when?
Fine.
Copper, I paid you, right? Don't come after me for debts. I don't know you shit.
Yeah, but
So Winry, continue.
yeah. So when she is first introduced, she is helping
Fixing
she's fixing a girl who turns
had
out
black
like
market parts.
had
put
black
into her.
market parts, so she's like having. It seems like she was having a seizure.
Yeah,
and
So
dying.
the way that they explained it was her sub-brain, which is connected to her brain, controls her extended parts. None of the body parts were cooperating with each other. Like they just didn't. What's the word that I'm looking for? Copper, you're smart.
They didn't. They didn't.
So the parts that were installed were black market parts from the mafia who runs the area they're currently in.
Yeah.
The parts were basically cheap or ill-made, stolen stuff as well, and
They were
nothing
incompatible.
Nothing worked together. It
That's-
was incompatible.
That's
so
the word I was looking for.
She was having a fatal seizure, and that seizure would continue until she died because basically her sub-brain was being overloaded, which is then pushing all that stress onto her actual brain, causing a seizure. So
Yes.
to fix this, our Winry character basically takes her apart.
Just straight up removes her arms and stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
tells her father, next time you're looking to have this type of work done, come to me instead. I'll make sure everything works, and I'm cheaper than the mafia.
Yep. Which probably angers the mafia.
Probably.
Apparently, the mafia, as we learn later on, actually leave her alone. And particularly, there is a mafia higher up who stops another member from causing trouble in her shop because she does work for the mafia as well at times. Because she repairs anybody who needs it, right? Which
Right.
includes people who are in the mafia. And because she's such a good mechanic, they're like, we're not going to cause trouble here. She's useful to our people as well.
Nice.
Makes sense. So she's got that going on. So he brings the broken boy who can't move. She gets him fixed up so he can move. He possesses a head that he conveniently. No. It's because he has no vocal cords even.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
they cut his
because
vocal
they like
cords.
fuck
they cut
this
his vocal
kid
cords
up.
as well.
So he possesses a robot head, and the robot head was having a conversation with them. And
Can we just really quickly talk about whenever he's possessing something, he has to like open up his mouth and scream violently?
Yeah, so he opens his mouth,
thank
and
you.
what you hear is harmony. Is actually is actual sound of harmony because
Yeah.
he can't make noise. Another important note is not only did they cut the tendons on his hands and feet and cut his vocal cords so he can't speak, they also removed his memories. So anything longer than a year ago, which is when they
did
started
they?
doing stuff to him, he does not remember.
okay, so I don't think they covered that yet. Did
Yeah,
they?
they do. They mention it in
Do they?
passing that he basically has amnesia.
Oh, okay. I don't
Because
remember
he
that.
doesn't remember his name or anything like that. He
Got
says,
it.
"I don't have memories from more than a year ago when I woke up at the facility."
Ah, okay. I guess I missed
Makes sense.
I missed that bit.
I would assume they do that to all of the children at the facility, though.
Probably. I mean, if you're gonna kidnap people and do stuff like that to them,
It's
though
only reasonable that you steal their memories too.
yes, though a character we meet who works for the company, who is actually extremely proud of being fully human, specifically mentions that the kid is in fact the son of the CEO, and because he's the son of the CEO, he is basically company property, and they can do whatever they want with him. That's how they view it.
Oh,
Yep.
that's mean. That's very mean.
I mean, hey, do you not have children just to be slaves and test subjects?
No, I don't have children at all. So
Wow,
no.
that
No.
makes
Yeah.
three of us. Yeah.
Overall, this is a very
100% of 2.5 weebs are childless. Don't forget.
Woo. Comfy will get there someday.
God, I hope not.
Oh no.
We'll get to that conversation later.
Little comfy
We're
nuggets running
talking
around.
about having children later? I don't think so. Can we not?
Oh no, I'll talk
I'm
about why I
kidding.
don't want them later.
Oh.
We'll get there in the post section. Continue.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, this anime is super pretty, which is again, it's Madhouse. I don't think they've ever made something that's ugly. Like
I had to pause it and go back when they were doing some of the scenery shots because it was just so well done.
yeah,
Well,
so
Madhouse is also the company that was infamous for making One Punch Man Season 1, where they
Yes.
animated all of the fight scenes in 60 frames per second. And if you can find any other animation that does that, I'll give you, like, I don't have money, but I'll give you, like, a gold star.
He'll let you hug
That's-
him, which
that's
is
what matters.
important because Comfy doesn't like touching.
I
But yeah,
don't.
this anime is super pretty. The story is very interesting. I love the cyberpunk world of this.
It's a very interesting cyberpunk world.
The character designs are both, some are interesting, some are just strange, but again, it's a cyberpunk world, so it kind of still
Holy shit.
fits. Like
Okay,
some of the
well, so
I
in episode 3,
yes,
we didn't
the
talk about how in
spider girl-
episode. Did we talk about in episode 2 how like he's running around looking for his fucking cigarettes? Because
he's looking for cigarettes, which are the cigarettes he's looking for, which it's like, oh no, I can't smoke. They're actually medicinal cigarettes made for extended that have certain chemicals in them that allow their bodies to help deal with the stress of their extended body parts. In particular, the ones he smokes are made for people who are called overextendeds, who are people who have cybernetic enhancements to the point where they're barely human anymore. Overextended people are actually, for the most part, illegal and have to be registered with the Security Bureau. In his case, he's allowed to exist as he is. One, because he's registered. Two, because he comes from the war. So that's why he's allowed to be like he is. A normal person now wouldn't be allowed to have an extended as much of their body as he has. It'd actually be a crime. They'd actually be arrested and the extensions would be removed, which,
yeah,
since you've already removed your normal body parts, that seems to put you in something of a pickle. But yeah, he's running around looking for the cigarettes. Turns out the company bought them all up, and we meet our fat little happy human person who works for the company, who basically says, hey, if you do what we want, we'll let you have your cigarettes and we won't keep screwing with you. Otherwise, we're just going to go after everything you love first before, dealing with you permanently. Which goes over poorly, to say the least.
the man's a gun. Why would you fight a gun?
The guy ends up being forced to flee. And it turns out our Winry character has synthesized the cigarettes that our main character uses. They apparently taste awful, but they give the same medicinal effect, which is the important part.
Yes.
In episode 3, we see our kid. What's his name?
I don't remember.
I don't
It starts
know.
with a T, but I forget.
I
what
know
it is.
nobody's names. I know Gunhead, Winry, and the kid. That's all I know. That's what I
Yeah,
know.
We're bad.
That's
we're bad.
that's
with names,
it.
everybody. I think anybody who listens to this show realizes we're bad with names by now.
We're good with names when we care a whole lot. The
Or
gunhead's
we-
name was Juzo.
Juzo, yeah. Or when
Look,
we
the
can
thing
pronounce, if
is,
they're
we
little,
remember names of characters when it's the show that we actually cover. But when we watch the first 3 episodes of a show and then we mostly just move on with our lives, it's like,
Yes.
we don't get invested. So,
Well, there's also the fact the kid has a long, the kid's name is fully Japanese and it's long,
yeah.
so it's harder
that's
to remember.
Fucking Japanese shit.
When there's shows that the
On an
characters all
anime
have like
podcast.
super white names, it's really easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's the problem is it's a foreign language and we're not used to the
Yeah.
naming conventions. Anyways, our kid in the 3rd episode, we see him now in. He's got his extensions now, so he can actually move his arms and legs, or
Mhm.
eventually will be able to. He's still learning to control them. We see the head that Dale had mentioned that they have around, so he can actually talk by using
Mhm.
harmony on the head. And they hear. So this is when we meet our mob characters. They come to the shop and basically say, hey, we have a problem. Someone's going around and attacking extended kids and ripping the extensions off them and then putting them up as public displays. So we think it's a member of this anti-extended supremacy group type thing. They're basically terrorists. Like, we want you to help deal with it. And he basically says, well, as the mafia, you should probably deal with your own problems yourself. Which they eventually agree to, so they end up leaving. The kid, however, wants Juzo to deal with the issue because someone's attacking kids, and he thinks correctly, because Juzo's in the same mindset, that it's actually the company doing it to try to
basically
draw...
the government.
Yeah, it's the corporation. They're trying to draw him out by attacking kids and leaving messages, which he assumes is for him. He's right. Juzo's like, yeah, you're probably right. That is what they're doing, but I'm not going to endanger myself or you for these other people because they're not part of the gig. And the kid ends up using harmony on him to take over his body, which he takes his body with him because he's not going to leave his own body there for some reason. Because he's like,
Full
Hey,
on Nezuko right there.
it's like,
Just want to point that out.
this might be dangerous. I can't leave my body unprotected. I'll take it with me while I go looking for someone who's attacking people and ripping extensions off them. Because that makes perfect sense. For anybody who's not a child, would be like, what the fuck, are you an idiot? He does the full Nezuko thing, stuffs his body into a basket, which he then puts on his back. He's still a kid, though, in this giant body, which is emphasized by the part that he's just going around and asking random people stuff. So this area is called Kusai Pit or something like that.
So he temporarily actually becomes Ed Elric.
So it is a giant, like, lawless area that's run by the mafia and has a bunch of criminals and illegal extendeds and stuff in it. He runs afoul very quickly of chop shop guys who want to cut up his body for parts. He ends up running away from them, hiding his head with a sack.
Yes.
And comes across these
So
two
how
kids.
the fuck does he still see? Where's his eyes?
Yeah, he remarks on the fact that he can still see even with the sack over his head. So
We don't
he
know
comes
where his eyes
across,
are.
he sees these two kids running down an alleyway and being chased by an extended. He's like, oh, that must be the extended who's, attacking kids. So he goes in, knocks out the extended. Turns out, no, that extended worked for the mafia. That's the guy they sent out to deal with the people who are attacking kids. And it turns out the people attacking kids are these two other children who are from
What?
either the same facility or different facility. It doesn't just mention they're from a facility.
So
And one of
like-
them is like super extended, who looks kind of like a spider type thing when she transforms.
well, hold on.
She
So
was fucking
so
terrifying.
First off, he picks a fight with the like two cleaver clown looking dude who the mafia
Yeah,
hired
he
to
just
hunt them down.
assumed, as I said, that he assumes that's the guy. He knocks him out.
He punches him and his head goes like into the ceiling. I think he's dead. He could possibly be dead. I don't know. Then all of a sudden, the blonde and the brunette girl are like, well, I don't know. How do they word it? They got to fucking.
They can't
get
have
hooked
any
now?
witnesses.
Yes. So all of a sudden, the blonde grows spider bits out of other bits. It's kind of disturbing. She gets like 3 tentacles coming out of her arms, and then she's essentially straddling spider thorax, which is coming out of her. It's dumb and terrible and disturbing.
A bit. She got a really big thorax all of a sudden out of nowhere.
It's good,
Yes.
man. It's gonna need some repairs later.
Dude,
gonna
I'm
need
having
some
none
lube.
of it.
It's gonna need some lube to go back up.
Oh my! It's
so-
bad. You need to.
If you
Yeah.
see it, you'll understand what we're talking about.
Yeah,
The
if you
lube
see
thing
it,
might
you'll
give
be
away.
like,
Extendo thorax.
Oh my god! It's
So it turns out the reason these kids who are attacked don't wake up is that she's able to poison people. She poisons him, which they assume takes care of him. It doesn't. They end up going to meet with their contact from the company. Turns out it's our happy, fat human boy again, doing bad things. And he's like, well, you failed, so screw you both. We're just going to kill you. And our main guy shows up again,
and
magically awake from the poison.
he
which
like
had knocked everybody out.
stops the evil mafia guy, and it looks like there's a fight about to ensue, and then
Yes,
the
and that's
show
where the
ended. Now,
Episode
did you
ends.
guys watch any more? Because I fucking didn't.
I haven't yet. I probably will.
It's just too anime. I can't. It's too much.
The show
No, thank
is very
I
cyberpunk.
really like Cyberpunk.
I
This show
don't.
is
really
very
like Cyberpunk.
cyberpunk. anime.
God.
This show isn't so much anime as it is very cyberpunk.
There's
There's not
fucking
even a lot of-
tentacles coming out of girls. It's very anime.
First of all, those are
That's
spider
a s-
legs.
Those are spider legs. They're not
That's
tentacles.
Look.
She was basically a spider. That's why she had like the 3 arms on each side plus 2 legs. That's 8. That's a spider.
Okay,
This is
there
very, very
are-
cyberpunk.
Okay, there are spider legs growing out of a poor little girl. So it is. It
Yes.
is. Yes.
Yes.
I just and then you the whole time you're just like I
do have to
don't
say,
hate
that was
it.
a bit of a turn off for me.
It was rough to look at, and then I realized what
As I
was
said,
happening.
some of the
and I was
designs,
just like, oh
as I
god.
said before,
Like,
some of the
it's-
designs are very interesting. Other characters' designs are very strange, but that said, you do see very strange cybernetic designs in Cyberpunk. That's a thing that happens. So
Yeah.
they're keeping to the style here, like the classical style of Cyberpunk with a lot of elements. There's not a lot of anime tropes in this at all.
No, yeah, I was very surprised. They also kind of veered away from super anime styles as well.
I
Yes.
don't know, man. You just
The girls, obviously, because if you have girls that aren't anime styled in an anime, then you're committing some form of sacrilege.
Yes.
But
No.
like all of the guys and all of the monsters are very, very
and
realistic.
they're everything looks realistic. The girls don't look bad. They don't look like overly
No.
like done or overly sexualized, except for the nun. But that seems to be kind of a thing she does herself to put people off.
Are you saying she did that herself?
Yes. So like, and we have different body types in this show as well that you don't normally see elsewhere. Like aside from our normal skinny guy, we also have our giant guy. Like the gunhead thing is very different. The spider girl is very different. The main evil guy we've met so far from the company, the happy human guy, is very short and fat, which is not a body type you see a lot of either. So this show is very diverse in how it designs its characters. It's again very pretty because it's a Madhouse Productions, and they make really gorgeous stuff. It's an interesting story. Like if you like cyberpunk, you like crime noir, you're probably going to find something to like in this show. But
it is cyberpunk to its core.
It is very over the top because it is cyberpunk. So there are things that'll probably turn people off, like Dale.
Yeah, I'm like really excited for Cyberpunk the game. Like I love sci-fi stuff. Like I loved Altered Carbon, but this is just
Altered Carbon was a really good series.
It's very different from the books, but it's a very good series. I can't wait till next season gets made for it.
Did we get a second season confirmed for Altered Carbon?
I believe they confirmed a second season for it. But the great thing about that show is that they don't have to stick with the same actors, right?
Yeah,
they shouldn't.
Well, the main character is like supposed to be different now.
Wait.
Different actor. Because like at the end of the first season, don't they like get the other dude his body back? So our main character needs to find a new body. I don't remember.
Shit, you're right.
It's been a while since I watched it.
Yes,
I think so.
The main character in Altered Carbon season 1, the main guy got his body back. He has a new body. So there was a cast announcement in February.
Okay.
As well as a teaser trailer. So yeah, definitely getting a season 2.
Okay, cool. But yeah, like the dude's got the fucking like the gun head is just like, come on. It's too cheesy.
Very over the
it's
top.
fucking cheesy. And then like the spider girl, it's fucking cheesy, and the nun is cheesy, and of course the annoying ass kid who's like, I'm gonna possess your body and take it into my own hands and try to do all the shit that I want to do, but I'm a fucking kid and I don't know how to do shit, so I'm gonna fuck it up, and then I'm gonna rely on adult gunman to come save me, and it's just like, no, I don't want to watch this.
Wow, it sounds like you hate children.
I do hate children. That's not at all true. But
just to continue to decide, it looks like we're going to get Altered Carbon season 2 probably in February.
Cool.
I'm about it. I'm really excited then.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Altered Carbon. So it's like, it's not that I hate the cyberpunk shit.
Altered Carbon is a sci-fi cyberpunkish show, but it's not full on like
it built a
cybernetics
world in a very specific
style.
way.
Yeah, like
where they do, instead of doing the cybernetics, they do the skins.
Now,
versus where Cyberpunk 2077 is, and where this is doing the cybernetic stuff where you just replace body parts.
Yeah, and there are fully cybernetic bodies, like robotic bodies in Cyberpunk. We don't see them too much. You see a few characters who are a little weirder looking, who are basically that.
Yeah.
But this show here, it's full on, like, people have been converted into weapons. People have converted part of their bodies into, like, weird monstrosities or experiments. Like, it's deep end
it's
cyberpunk.
The whole time.
Like, they've gone deep end with this stuff, rather than just staying at the top end where things look a bit normal, but have some elements of cyberpunk stuff, like, pulled up, or some sci-fi stuff pulled up, or more sci-fi elements that are more, quote, mainstream. This is deep end, like, cyberpunk that you don't see a lot of, where, but you saw a lot of this stuff like in the 80s, somewhat in the early 90s, but you don't see a lot of it now. So it's interesting to see. I kind of expect some of these elements we have in this show to actually be in Cyberpunk, the game that's coming out.
I know for a fact a lot of them will be.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
It like one of the things that I actually noticed while watching this, I was like, that is very reminiscent of the game. That is very reminiscent of the game.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that they had going on, a lot of the just different body parts that they had done, a lot of the different styles that they had for it. So, so Dale, I'm assuming you would not recommend this show.
No. I mean, no, I don't like it at all. No, thank you. It's not like I don't ever watch it, but it's like
I think Copper and I are on the same page. We're like, if you like crime noir or you like Cyberpunk, it's a fun time.
Yeah, you might you're probably going to find something to enjoy in this show, but it is again very over the top. So if you don't like the super deep elements of Cyberpunk, it's probably not going to be for you. But if you like really enjoy like that type of aesthetic or that type of world building, what's the old role playing games that were super Cyberpunk?
What year?
Oh, they're old. Hold on.
Old, and I'm.
Couldn't
If they're
tell you.
older than me, I don't know.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think it's a fun show. I'm definitely probably gonna pick it up in my free time. I recommend it if you're into Cyberpunk.
That's it.
Oh, Shadowrun. Oh yeah, I do know that game. Absolutely.
Yes. So very reminiscent of like a lot of stuff from there, like the deep end Cyberpunk stuff, the weird shit. So
Not super familiar with that.
It's old.
Yeah.
Didn't they just come out with like a newer one?
I don't know if they released a tabletop like role playing game again. They had a board game come out a little while ago.
In 2014, they released the sequel to Shadowrun called Shadowrun Dragonfall.
Yeah, they had another game come out. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Google for letting me search stuff. But yeah, no, it's a good time.
Yeah.
Not
cool.
bad. It's very, very pretty.
Yes.
And then, hey, what else did we watch this week?
Well, we got to see our. It's not even the conclusion because we don't know what happens at the end.
Yeah, I was incredibly underwhelmed by this fucking episode. Like,
I really liked half.
I didn't
of this
like
episode.
it. I didn't like it at
So
all.
we got to
honestly.
see two very interesting things happen. One less so than the other. So we got the fight between Thorkel and Thorkin. Thorfinn, which is cool.
How could you forget Thorfinn the orphan? Jesus.
Thorfinn the
Remember
mighty
how we were talking about how we got invested into TV shows and remembered characters' names? And then there's fucking Copper.
I'm like, meh. We got Thor and Thor. So
yeah,
they end up fighting.
Thor squared.
It's very underwhelming.
It makes sense. The fight's not super interesting. Thorkin can't really hit him, and he can't do any damage because of the chain shirt he's wearing. That's covering all of his vital parts, which is what he needs to hit to be able to kill a guy to make this fight stop, which he's very well aware of. And everybody's watching it. They end up starting to make fun of Thorfinn, which makes Thorkel mad because he's like, I'm treating this guy as a warrior. I see him as an actual warrior. Don't you dare laugh at him. And if I was watching this fight, there's no way I would be laughing at either of these men. One of them is twice the size of any other human being. And there's some big ass men here to begin with. And two, the other guy is so fast that, the giant guy who's real quick as well, despite his being so big, can't hit him. And like, you can see where the cuts are opening up on his clothing. Like, if you were a normal person, Thorfinn would have murdered you by now.
Yeah.
Like, and people like, he's so bad he can't kill him. It's like every other person who fights this man dies in one swing. Like,
yeah,
Thorfinn's
Or
been fighting
they
this
don't
guy
even
for
get one swing.
Yeah.
Like there were people who just literally went brain dead because of the prospect of fighting.
of fighting this man, like
Yes.
quite literally. Like, and you do see that
Yeah.
guy get in this show. They're
He-
just kind of poking him, which is hilarious.
Oh my god.
They didn't kill him. Like that's the thing. They're like, we can't kill him. He's broken.
Well, it's
So-
it's literally against their religion for that because they're like, well, he's a warrior. He should fight and die and go to Valhalla, but he can't.
he can't. They realize that at this point he's sick, like sick in such a way that he can't actually fight, and they don't want to send him to hell. So they're like, well,
Exactly.
we'll just leave him alive. Like maybe he'll snap out of it, and then we can kill him. But right
Yeah.
now, just leave him alone. Um,
Exactly. They just leave him be.
So neither person is doing well in this fight because Thorfinn's too fast, Thorkel is too hard to hurt, and then Thorkel does something intelligent, which is kind of surprising. He seems something of a dumbass at times, who's a little obsessed with fighting. He basically digs his axes into the snow, throws a ton up, so Thorfinn can't see, and ends up throwing them up like
No,
into the
he
air.
fucking kicks him. He just
he kicks him
he
like, and
gives
so
a
because of that,
full-blown, like-
Thorfinn takes the blow on his legs and basically uses it to propel himself away from Thorkel. The problem there is that he ends up going fucking high in the air.
Yeah, he got fucking kicked for the field goal. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
like he
From
is
the
flying through the air
70-yard
and there's a
mark.
bird beside him. I think
Like he
at
ends
some
up like
point.
flying super far up and back and crashes through a bunch of trees and then slams into the ground and kind of doesn't move. That's kind of all we see of that fight. So we assume that he's either dead or injured to the point where he's not going to be able to fight anymore. The other big point of this episode was the prince basically had a mental breakdown.
So can I just point out what I didn't like about this episode?
Sure.
Sure.
I hated that it was constantly cutting between the two.
Yes.
Mm.
I would have really liked it if it started with the prince and then ended with Thorfinn.
Yeah, so that
But
is a
it
very
just-
annoying
it
part of
kept
it. Of this.
cutting.
It keeps going back and forth through this episode, which is because it's only
Jarring,
two
and it
story beats that are
keeps-
going
it
on at the
keeps
same
cutting-
time. It's very annoying.
Yeah.
Well, the
like-
thing is too, it got me invested in the prince, who's a character I don't even give a shit about.
Yep.
Like it got me invested in his personal growth, and then it cuts away to go back to Thorfinn, and it's like, oh, we're back at the fight. And it gets me invested in the fight, and then it cuts away.
Yep.
Like, it kind of works, but it was really irritating.
Yeah. So with the prince, though, because rather than going back and forth, we're just describing each section because that's the way this makes more sense. The prince wakes up after having a vision of Conehead, and him saying, I'm dead, yada yada. You got to get up and go on with life.
I should have been a better dad.
I should have been, a better person to you. I shouldn't have treated you the way I treated you. I shouldn't have raised you as my son, as like basically a farmer son. I should have raised you as a prince, and I didn't, and I'm sorry. Like I failed you because of this. Which the prince is like, no, you didn't fail me. You were a father to me. Like, how is that a failure? Like, so what? I'm not the prince they wanted me to be. I'm the man that you would have raised your own son to be. So he wakes up. The priest is there getting drunk
Yes.
because that's all this priest does. He's an alcoholic, quite literally.
No.
I mean,
He
who
didn't
among
drink
us
a
is
drop until the Vikings were basically like, didn't they force him to drink? And then he became an alcoholic.
No, he was a alcoholic beforehand. He actually gets really weird if he doesn't drink. He's got a lot of mental
What's-
drama. I think that he uses booze to.
I don't
Keep
remember.
down.
Okay, I don't. I thought
Suppress.
he had. Okay, all right.
No, the only time we've seen the priest not drinking is when they specifically tell him they have no booze for him, and he goes a little nutty.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's drinking probably just from pilfered stuff that was in the wagon sled thing that got thrown about, and getting drunk. And the prince wakes up, starts talking to him, and says, I had a vision of Conehead. And so the priest goes into him about love. Now, as we recall, the priest has a very strange concept of love and what love means, and basically says he didn't actually love you because for something to love something, it needs to be dead, because then it doesn't change, it doesn't want, it doesn't have needs. which is really weird. Like, it's
Well, I
very
mean,
weird.
listen, a lot of people loved Daenerys Targaryen, and then see what happened there.
Yeah. So
You gotta be done before you decide it.
so he has this very strange conversation with him, and the prince basically decides that because the world is the way it is, God must not actually love them, and if God doesn't love them, fuck him. They're gonna do something to make heaven on earth then, so that they can experience love on earth while they're alive, rather than having to wait for God's love when they're dead.
It gets really existential.
Yeah, it gets very strange. It's a very sharp detour from everything else in this show. It's a very odd beat. But it's also a necessary beat because it's basically the strange rationale the prince is going to have going forward, I think, in his head, because he has a complete personality shift from this whining, snivelly, like, princess to, like, okay, if we need to kill shit and get shit done, that's fine. Whatever. He also calms down our berserker.
Yes, so Bjorn had previously eaten the giant berserker mushroom and is
he took some
the
shrooms.
entire time that Canute is having the mental breakdown / conversation with the priest. Bjorn is just beating the shit out of everyone with his bare hands because he's on drugs. They don't really show a whole lot of it.
They show like him going by and like throwing a guy face first into something and stuff like that. Like, it's our main focus is them, and then in the background this is kind of going on, like they'll come across screen and then leave and go across screen and leave. It's very, very strange. But Bjorn's got like a broken spear in his back as well as like a cleaver.
No, he's got a couple of anyway, like he doesn't get the stab until the very end, where basically he approaches Canute, and Canute, after he's had his like epiphany, basically stares Bjorn down and puts his hands on his head and is like, yo, calm the fuck down. And then he gets stabbed in the back because he's distracted.
No, he gets stabbed in he gets stabbed in the front around the area of the kidney, so low on the side.
Oh, he gets stabbed in the side. Okay, either way, because he's distracted. So sorry, I got the direction of the stab a little bit wrong. I'm sorry.
He got stabbed.
Yeah, he got stabbed. He's no longer berserking, so he feels this one, unlike
Copper's like, actually, he's 100% that guy right now.
But Canute also stops the other guy, who is the brother of our now vegetable man back at the other camp, from killing him. He's like, no, we're not going to do that. You treat his wounds. I'm going to go do this stuff. And that's kind of what the prince does. So we're at a very strange place where the prince is starting to act like an actual warrior. He's had this massive personality change. Everybody's like, these two people are very confused about what the hell is going on with the prince, because they're like, the fuck?
So
this is not normal behavior from him.
So at the very end, he does the whole, I'm gonna flip my cape to the side and then a freeze frame, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, okay, they have a very
all right, it's anime.
Trope-ish. That's not even an anime trope. That is straight up a trope from so much media. They just use it here.
I mean, it's whatever.
Every to be continued screen in JoJo's.
Right. So, like,
it's the same walk you get from, I'm the cool guy walking away from the explosion. That's basically what this is.
I'm going to get a trench coat just so I can flip it and freeze frame at GuardianCon.
Please do.
Sorry, GCX.
Please do. But
you got it.
Yeah, so I assume next week will be like Thorfinn's got a broken bone or two, and Thorkel will be like, that was a good fight.
Or 8.
Askeladd will be like, fuck, I'm stabbed, but Askeladd won't be murdered because Thorkel will protect him. I also want to theorize that Canute will convince Thorkel to lead or to follow him because he's going to go fight his brother, and Thorkel's going to be like, fuck yeah, that's a fun fight, let's go. Yeah, that's my theory.
It sounds like a fun theory.
I mean, it does, doesn't it?
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, watch the next episode.
Which is out now?
It probably is
out now.
Unless they delayed it.
Yes.
No, I saw it up already. I saw it up already. It's out.
Okay, good. Man.
So yeah, Vinland Saga is
anything
still
else this
good.
Week?
I'm the Mandalorian. That's about it.
This is the way.
This is the way.
That was such a good.
So what do you guys
episode.
wanna
Listen, All I
do-
wanted was John Wick in space.
So
I
I
told
think
you it
we're
was a
gonna
good
make
episode.
Comfy very happy because I'm gonna recommend we actually do the Konosuba revisit like we've been talking about
So
Nice.
for
I had
the next episode. Next week will be
So-
a bye week because of Thanksgiving and stuff like that. I won't be
Yes.
around at all. I assume
yes,
you guys
and
might
Comfy,
be busy.
I know is not
Yeah.
going to be around either.
So
Yeah.
it will be one bye week without your weebage. You'll probably live.
An absolute tragedy.
It will be a
So
little
it
bit of
also means we're
tragedy.
going to have probably
two episodes of Vinland.
of Vinland to go over. So aside from the Konosuba one, the revisit, there was a show I was looking at that is actually related to Konosuba because it's from the makers of Konosuba. They have a new anime out this season.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
I'm scared.
You shouldn't be scared. It's fine. And this is actually one we've talked about looking at before as well. Can you guess which anime out this season is made from the guys from Konosuba?
Oh man.
I know nothing, so no. Please. The fuck?
I
I
listen,
agree.
I heard screaming.
So did I. Excuse me for a minute.
Is your dog in trouble? Did she
Pepper
yell
is a
cat?
cat.
Oh, okay. That's the pep dip. I knew I heard pepper. I was confused. Okay.
I'm definitely not looking up what series are active right now.
I'm not because I'm just like whatever about it. You guys will tell me what to watch.
I don't know. What is it? What
I have no
what-
idea.
What are you
I
throwing
think
us at?
no. Copper had to get up for a minute.
Cautious Hero? Is that what it is, Sherry?
Okay, it's not Cautious Hero. Cautious Hero is actually very like Konosuba, though. So I was going to say that's probably something we should
Mhm.
look at eventually. No, it's the one. Remember how I mentioned to you there is a isekai out where the guy suplexes the princess within like the first like 5-10 minutes?
Oh yeah, I don't.
So that show is actually made from the guys from Konosuba.
Gotcha. What's that one called?
Let me bring that up just a second here. Also, it turned out the cat had decided it wanted to get into a small Christmas tree, and it knocked the whole thing over.
Fun.
Yeah, she likes balls of all types for some reason, like as much as a dog would. So she sees Christmas like bulbs as like a ball she can play with, and she's like, "Hey, this thing has a ton of balls on it. Give me one."
Cool.
Okay, so it is super Japanese name. So I'm going to do a copy paste to Dale's chat. You can see it. Hatage Kimono Michi, maybe.
Yep. I totally know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, I have no idea. What is this in English?
Is there an English translation?
That's what I'm looking for.
Well, also considering the fact that we're gonna.
In English, it is Kimono Michi Rise Up. So that's probably his name.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. But considering we're gonna be having a bye week, we might as well just kind of worry about that then, because we'll probably forget what we talk about doing next. So yeah, we're gonna be doing the revisit of Konosuba. So should I watch? What do you want to do? You want to watch like the first 3 episodes? Do you want to watch the?
Well, we've seen the first 3 episodes of Konosuba. So we'll be looking at. And we have a week.
Well, I
in
would
the
have
bye
to
week,
completely rewatch. So I'll probably watch the first 6 or so. We could do
Yeah,
that.
I'd say the first. We'll look at the first 6, see if
Mhm.
Dale gets hooked on episodes 4, 5, and 6, because we know episodes 1 to 3 originally didn't hook him, but
We also know that it's been that
Mhm.
was almost a year.
it's been a
It might
while.
not have
Yeah,
been, it's been a very long
while.
time since
He's
we did
learning.
Konosuba.
So his weebdom has evolved since then.
I'm
so-
still probably not gonna find it a very good TV show, but like I might just I don't know. We'll see.
Whoa.
Maybe I'll find it
Whoa.
funnier. What? What? Are you gonna yell at me because I have different tastes than you? God.
I'm gonna yell at you because your tastes are wrong.
Oh, okay. All right. Rude. I'll make you taste a knuckle sandwich, nerd.
Man, if you could even make a sandwich, I'd be surprised.
Okay. I will make you the greatest gambolano to have ever lived. You just wait.
You just said a really big word with a lot of syllables. I'm gonna be honest.
It's a kind of sandwich. It's not even a type. Is it actually a type of sandwich? I think it was just a meme on the internet. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yeah. So not next week, but the next episode will be Konosuba. We're going to be doing the first 2 episodes of that. I'm going to have to rewatch some stuff.
First 6.
Yeah.
We're looking at the first six.
1 through 6.
I thought so, Popper.
1 through 6 of
so, Cherry.
Konosuba. And then 2 episodes of Vinland Saga.
Yeah. Man, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
While we were talking about that, I was looking more a little bit into season 2 of Altered Carbon because I knew they were recasting the main lead because that's kind of the deal.
Yeah.
So it's Anthony Mackie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. For those who aren't familiar with him, that is actually one of the main Marvel characters.
Yeah, he's Falcon.
Yep. Falcon in the Marvel movies is going to be the lead for Altered Carbon season 2.
Neat.
Now, if they follow the books, this is also going to be something like a 30-year time jump forward in time as well.
And it's also significantly wilder than the first season, from what I've heard.
Yeah, so book 1, basically, because they follow the books, that's the concept they have is following the books somewhat. There are things that are very different from the books to the show. But book 1 basically takes place in this one city. Book 2 takes place 30 years later, and in addition to that, they move around from place to place. So it's like from world to world. So it's going to be interesting.
It's a bigger production.
Yes. And then book 3 is like even farther in the future because our main character, as long as he doesn't like his stack doesn't get destroyed, is basically immortal. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see him because he's a big actor now. Also, we're gonna have Simone Missick, who's from Luke Cage, be a main character as well.
Nice.
So yeah,
that sounds like a good time. I'm excited for that now that I know that it's happening. I really like.
Yeah, and you said
season
February
1.
for Altered Carbon. That's cool.
It looks like it's going to be probably February. Yes.
Just gotta find a.
But hey, we get Witcher in like 3 weeks though.
Is it 3 weeks? Shit. Okay.
Yeah. Witcher comes out in December. Now Witcher isn't going to be like The Mandalorian. It's going to be a binge show, is it not? Like they're just
it's going to be a binge show. I'm really liking watching Mandalorian week to week, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I am enjoying it. I would 100% binge that show, though, if it was out all at once.
Oh,
absolutely.
100%. Yeah, very much.
This is the way.
So, there was something that annoyed me on Twitter. Sarkeesian decided to stick her nose into things. It's like, there's no women in the first episode. Like, there are 7 speaking roles in the first episode. One of them is a woman.
Yes.
And she's the only character in the whole episode where our main character pays any sort of deference to. Like, he's the one person he's actually polite to and defers to and stuff. And you're saying there's no women here. It's like, there's one woman. She's actually in charge of shit. Like, what is wrong with you?
That's so annoying.
Not to mention, when she put that tweet out, it was on like episode 3's release, which is directed by a woman.
Nice. Well, gotta be mad at stuff. I mean, did you hear about the Charlie's Angels came out and it flopped because it wasn't a good movie, and then the person, like the star of it, said that it will only flop because people don't like seeing women in movies. People don't like seeing movies that are bad. Like,
yeah, the reason the Ghostbusters, the last Ghostbusters movie failed wasn't because of the female cast. The female cast in that are fantastic comics. 100%. It's not a good movie, though.
You ever seen
'Cause the script
Bridesmaid? That
sucked.
movie was fucking hilarious
Yes.
and it was really good.
Yeah,
and it was
that's
received
the
well.
best thing to look, because at least
so
one of the cast, I
fuck
think
off.
even two of them, were in Bridesmaid, and they're hilarious there. That movie's so well written. And then you look at that newer Ghostbusters movies, and it's like, this isn't funny. Like, the reason people don't like this is because it's not funny. Like, what's her name? Melissa McCarthy? McCartney?
Yeah.
She's
I like her from
hilarious.
time to yeah, she's funny.
Like, when she's got a good script, she's great. Her comedic timing is awesome.
Yeah.
But if you give her a bad script, and she's been in some bad movies that have bad scripts,
Yeah.
You can tell the difference. And it's not for her lack of trying or lack of doing the best she can with, what she's given, but it's what she's given. Like, the people who act in the movies don't generally write them. I say that generally because there's a well-known writer who does that, who's an awful actor.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, it's gotta love it. Gotta be.
Yeah,
You're wrong. I hope you know that.
It's like, this is the reason.
You
No, it's
copper.
not.
Your opinions are wrong.
The new Terminator movie also didn't do well in theaters. It's
Shocking.
I think on track to lose. Actually, it is shocking. Considering it's on track to lose like $100 million currently, which is a lot of money. But the reason it's shocking is because one, Cameron, this is the first time he's been involved since like Terminator 2.
Okay. Sure.
We had our what's her name? The character's name.
Sarah Connor.
Yes, Sarah Connor.
Linda something? Is it Linda something?
Yes. Our original actress came back, like, that everybody loved.
Yep.
So we had all these things come in, and then, it was the same writing people from 2 and stuff like that, and it just didn't, like, Arnold was back for it. And
The thing is, too, I didn't hear
fell.
necessarily bad things about the movie. Just, I think people are tired of it.
Yeah.
Well,
probably.
the problem is the movie doesn't do anything different. And the director of the movie, who basically got overridden by Cameron because he gave an interview, said that he had a different idea for how the movie should go and how it should end, that humans should lose. Like, this should not be a case where humans win. This should be a case where people lose, and then we have to deal with the fallout of that, like in the next type of thing. And Cameron's like, no, the humans have to win. And basically wrote him for that, even though he was just the producer, because it's Cameron's thing, and that's gonna, he's gonna pull rank.
Yeah.
So we have a movie that just didn't go well because people are like, well, there's nothing, like, it's not a bad movie. It's just there's nothing new here. Like, we've seen this time and time again. Like, give us something new. And they're like, you guys want the same thing. They're like,
Yeah.
we really don't. Now lose $100 million. So if we get
I
another
feel like
movie,
that's been happening a lot. There's not a whole lot of movies that are worth seeing.
well, that's the thing. There's so many movies coming out that are basically rehashes of ideas, and they're not changing anything up in such a way that makes them people want to go see them. Like, I haven't heard, like, for example, Frozen 2 is out. But
Yeah, I definitely went and saw that this morning.
Did
like-
you? Okay.
I absolutely did.
Never seen the first one. This is when I get flamed by the internet. I'm
First
sorry.
one was a movie.
first one was a
Second one
movie.
Second one was. It was pretty much the first one.
Yeah, like, they didn't
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like, wow, this is amazing. There were kids that were screaming. That was a good time. Man, never again.
Well, see, like, I know the girlfriend wants to see it, but either waiting till like the last day in theater at the last showing, or I'm waiting till it's out on home, type thing where I can rent it or somewhere, or it goes
Gotcha.
on Disney Plus, because
Yeah.
I don't
We went
like giving
early
the
in the
kids
morning.
theaters.
Went early in the morning, and to be fair, a lot of kids were very, very well behaved until like the very end.
Yes.
And then the ones that were sitting right behind us decided to start cheering.
Yeah.
So
That was probably not.
yeah,
at all
it was
obnoxious.
a good time.
Yeah, it makes
was a really good time.
Seeing animated movies in theaters is difficult because you have a lot of children who show up. 'Cause parents are always like, "It's animated. My kids can watch this." And it's like, this is the South Park movie. They shouldn't be here. Like,
Those are the same parents that take their kids to see Deadpool in theaters. Like,
Yes,
That's
and then
just bad
complain about it.
parenting.
It's like,
That's just
it's
bad
a Marvel
parenting.
movie. He's a comic character. He shouldn't be swearing. Why is there blood? It's like,
It says
did you
R.
did you not look at the rating of the movie? Like, it's a fucking R
Yeah.
movie. Like, they earned the R for a reason. Like, especially this movie.
Deadpool is a
Um,
very hard R. Let's be clear about that.
Yes.
Like it earns that rating for a reason.
Yeah, so like that's the
It's a
thing with movies
fantastic
right
movie,
now.
though. I love Deadpool. It's so good. Very
There's
good
so
movie.
many. They're
Great
just kind
time.
of meh. Like that's what we're getting for content currently, which is one of the reasons where we get something like The Mandalorian, which is new, something we've never seen from that franchise, and it's something people have been asking for. It's doing so well.
Well, it's telling a really interesting story. It's doing it super well. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
It's opening up lore in Star Wars that people have been wanting forever, which is Mandalorians, because all we've gotten from them is we got snippets of some Mandalorians in the Clone Wars, and we got Boba and Jango Fett, who weren't really true Mandalorians. They just had Mandalorian armor.
Yeah, so they had
Like-
Mandalorian styled armor. They basically were trying to sell themselves as Mandalorians, where they weren't actually Mandalorians.
Exactly. And so like we haven't gotten anything about that. We're getting a new interesting story in a time period that we don't really get stories from.
Right.
Like Clone Wars is in the Clone Wars TV series is in between 2 and 3. Rebels is in between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like Mandalorian is immediately after 6. It's live action, which doesn't happen. It's darker than a lot of the Star Wars stuff that we usually see. And then it's just also really well done.
Yeah.
I also think
Like-
they learned from Rogue One that, doing the darker take is fine. It goes over really well with audiences. Like,
Yes.
for me, hands down, Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
100%.
You
It's
grow
not even a
with
contest.
your audience. You know.
Like,
I think
That's-
Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie simply because it doesn't need to
I loved Rogue One. It was super good.
it doesn't need to deal with the entire Skywalker saga bullshit.
yeah, like,
Which is not to say that I don't like all of those movies. It's just that like when you're leaning super hard on it, it's like I don't need that.
the most
not
interesting
that
thing
important.
about Star Wars is the universe, not this set of like 5-6 characters that have frankly overstayed their welcome, and you have all the original, like a lot of the original fans, going, well, I want more of this character, I want more of this character. It's like, that character's fucking 80. Like, come on now. Like,
A lot of the
Like-
fans I know want Old Republic. They want stuff that
Yeah.
you don't see. They want side stories. I want Star Wars stories to be made just in the universe. I don't want
yeah,
I don't
like,
want
I don't
the
wanna-
garbage.
I don't want to follow around like a single family for 9 movies. Like, that's not what I want. Like, I want the Star Wars,
Yeah.
Skywalker shit to be over. I'm gonna be super happy when it is. I
Mhm.
hope we never go back to them, except for maybe in like an Easter egg in a future movie where a character mentioned is like who's dead in the past is a Skywalker. That will be fine. Like,
Yeah.
but that's it. Like, I don't want to deal with Luke. Luke was a shitty character. I don't want to deal with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was a shitty character. Like,
Whoa. Slow your roll there, champ.
because here's the thing: these characters are very one-dimensional characters because that's the way they were written.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. George Lucas is not the greatest writer.
He is, well, especially for characterization. But
That was a little bit of sarcasm. So
like, so, well, that's the thing. He's
great at
not. Like,
world building.
have you seen the original Star Wars scripts? Like, if-
There wasn't a reason for the Death Star blowing up, or not the Death Star. There wasn't a reason to blow up the Death Star.
yeah,
It was just
so
there.
The original Star Wars scripts are really, really bad. He had a lot of help from other sources that basically smoothed this stuff out to make Star Wars what it was. And you can see where he doesn't have that help in the newer trilogy that he put out, especially in the first one.
The prequels is what he's
yeah.
talking about.
So where we get things like Jar Jar and stuff like that, like that's Lucas
Jar
on
Jar
his
is
own.
the key.
Like-
Jar Jar is the key to all of this.
Like
Jar
all that
Jar is
stuff,
the
like
Sith
the
Lord.
super slow pace, the bad dialogue, all that stuff. That's Lucas without direction from somebody else. Because at that point, he's like, "I'm George Lucas. I'm going to make these the way I want to make them." but that's
No,
not
and
how he made them.
that's exactly what happened. The first 3 movies came out that he did so much bad, and like the first movie was saved in the editing room
Yes,
because they were able to cut it together in a way that it actually made sense.
like his editor, his co-director, and I think it's his wife as well.
His wife, yeah, was one of
basically
the main
saved
people.
the first trilogy is saved because of these people working with him. But because he became George Lucas, like it went to his head as it does for people, and he's like, I'm not going to do anything wrong. People love my stuff, so I'm going to just make this how I want to make it, and it didn't go over well. And then thankfully Disney came along and like, we're going to rescue your ass and rescue this because we don't want you fucking with it anymore. Like, here's money, go away.
Yeah.
But then they at the same time made the 2 first.
They got rid of the canon, the old quote canon stuff. But the problem,
the movies that they
universe,
put out have not been anything besides Rogue. Besides Rogue One, they haven't.
The
been
movies
special.
haven't been special aside from Rogue. Okay, Solo is actually not a horrible movie, but
it didn't really. It was okay. It was mediocre.
Yes, the problem with 7, 8, and Solo are the fact that those movies all revolve around characters Disney did not create and has to deal with.
So I don't know why the fuck they decided to do it in the way that they did, because they're not doing it very well. They could have just,
Because more than likely, Lucas made it part of his contract that they have to do 7, 8, 9.
Maybe.
Because I can see him doing that. Because he's always wanted that trilogy of 3 sets of movies to be made and out there. So he probably put in his contract, as part of selling this to you, I want these movies made. And so they were stuck making them. Solo didn't go so well because it had a couple of problems with it. Both the movie itself as well as with the marketing. There were some big issues with the marketing for Solo. Not so much on Disney's part, but whoever made stuff for Disney did something not supposed to, and it created a backlash. But the movie itself isn't awful. It's just not great. Because again, Han Solo as a character is not a super deep character. There's not a lot of nuance to him. And the way they had to write him, they had to make sure that it matched up with the character in the future. Like, this wasn't a character like with Rogue One where they can do whatever they want because they're killing these people off, right? So their characterization doesn't matter.
Yeah, I loved it. Like, they've shown that they can make new characters and make them very cool. So
yeah,
and when they are able to do whatever the fuck story they want, they do a good job.
Yeah. Look at Rogue One. Look at Mandalorian. Like, those are amazing. There's stuff in the Mandalorian.
Well, we don't know how the Mandalorian ends, so we don't know. Maybe like halfway through the season, it just shits the bed. You don't know that. We don't know that. We can't say it's
halfway. Game of Thrones.
Look, halfway through the season is this week.
Sure.
Yeah. The season's only 8 episodes long, right?
I get it.
So,
but we can't talk about how good Mandalorian is until at least we get the first season over. So far, the episodes have been great, but we can't be like, it's the greatest story ever, because the story hasn't ended.
First 2 episodes of Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, and given how well this is going currently, I can't see it ending poorly. Will everybody be satisfied? No. Will there be unanswered questions? Oh, fuck yes. They're going to leave some things just kind of dangling there to make people come back. But given this and given Rogue One, I can't say it's a bad thing Disney bought them. I don't even care they got rid of the old Legend stuff the way they did, because they get to cherry pick what they bring back. I think it's hilarious.
Of the old stuff was bad.
And a lot of it doesn't make sense. It doesn't mesh well, right? Like all that Legends people like, oh, I love this story and I love this story. It's like, okay, what about these 16 other stories? Yeah, those aren't good. It's like, well,
there's a lot of
get
stuff
rid of it,
like
rebuild, like bring back
stuff
in
like
stuff
Old
we love.
Republic that people wanted, and a lot of stuff like Revan. It's like people want these characters to exist in the universe, and they just don't anymore, which sucks. But as of well, I mean, in Clone Wars, they almost brought Revan back. They've brought back Bane.
Yes, they have brought back characters and things they enjoy, they like, they go over well when they make sense to do so.
But the thing is, I heard that a lot of it was because there was just so much shit in Star Wars Legends. They were like, there's too much that's bad.
There was too much that was bad. There was too much because there was no oversight. When Star Wars Legends stuff was being made, like all the comic books, the games, the novels, all that stuff was being made and put out there. The role playing stuff, none of it was checked with anybody. Like it all supposedly ran through Lucas, but he was just rubber stamping shit. So there's stuff that doesn't make sense with other stuff. There's stuff that's just awful. Like it. So from a company standpoint, when Disney took over, like here's the movies, and here's the stuff that makes canon sense. We're gonna keep this, cut this stuff. We'll call it Legends, and for canon stuff going forward, we'll cherry pick what we want to bring back in, which is what they've been doing, which is fine. I mean, they've even brought stuff back from the goddamn Christmas special in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, they brought back Life Day.
Not only Life Day, the gun he uses, the rifle, is from the Christmas special.
Oh, that's amazing.
The person you see using it in the Christmas special is Boba Fett. Like, so there's nods like that to stuff they're going to bring in and bring forward, which is great. So I can't, like, I expect we're going to see Revan at some point because Revan is a great character and fans love
haven't
that
they already?
story.
Hasn't it already been
Revan's
leaked?
a fan favorite.
Hasn't
Yes.
it already been leaked that who the protagonist is, or no, the antagonist is of the Old Republic series, the movies?
No.
Is the old well, so first of all, we don't even know if it is an Old Republic series. We know that D.B. Weiss and Benioff wanted to do an Old Republic series, and they had a trilogy that they were signed to do with Disney. But much like their inability to commit to Game of Thrones and making it good, they were unable to commit to making Star Wars and dropped it in favor of making a Netflix series.
They got
So-
fired. They didn't drop Star Wars. They got fired by Disney.
Oh yeah. That's the official
That's
story was that they didn't get fired, but
Oh yeah, the
they,
official story from them, because Disney hasn't really said shit about it, is that we left the Star Wars deal because we want to focus on this deal we have with Netflix. And I'm like,
who
who
in
the
their
fuck?
right mind would leave Star Wars for Netflix?
Like, yeah, I get you. Like, okay, you want to work on the Netflix thing. No one's gonna leave a Star Wars trilogy that they get to design and head for anything else. Like maybe a Marvel movie. Like if it's
there
a
have
big
been
Marvel
like
character.
leaks and stuff that the head of Star Wars, I forget her name.
She did not see eye to eye with those two. They're like, here's our ideas, and she's like, that does not mesh with what we're doing. Like, because they have a roadmap for Star Wars about what is okay and what's not okay to do, and they were way off in the blue with shit. And they're like, this has nothing to do with this stuff. Like, it does not tie in. They're like, yeah, but it's okay. It's Star Wars. And they also kind of admitted they'd never seen a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
How do you direct Star Wars if you're...
She had specifically said like she wants people to make Old Republic stuff, and she wants to do all of that cool legend stuff. Which, like, if we got like a Revan trilogy, that'd be killer.
I expect them to do it. I fully expect they're going to break out a Revan trilogy at some point because they know it's going to make money.
As long as they do it right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no,
it
they
has
don't even have to do
that
it.
trilogy.
They
unlike
just,
the whole,
they could make it mediocre and people would still flock to go watch that. That is how much people would
those
love
movies.
that
If they make a trilogy of Revan, it's gonna make money.
Yes.
Even if they're mediocre, it's gonna make money. Because a lot of Star Wars movies, we got to be frank, made a shit ton of money when they were mediocre or bad movies.
Yeah. Like they could just take the story and just be like, okay, movie it, do nothing interesting, just kind of make it and have it be decent, and people would lose their fucking minds and go watch them all. Yeah. And then it would be fantastic.
Yeah, if they pull from the story with good writers, like if they pull some of the writing staff they have from like Rogue One or The Mandalorian, then I think they'd be fine.
Just let Jon Favreau do it.
Yeah, like these writers have shown that they can deal with this subject
also
matter.
You know what I think? If they make a Revan trilogy, and like, how would they do it? Do you think they just do the KOTOR video game and make a trilogy out of it? Do you?
I don't think they'd stick to like the KOTOR video game. I think they'd probably
I think they'd
follow
take
Revan's turn to the dark side.
Yeah, I think we would get
no, because if they have him turn to the dark side, that wouldn't be. I guess
no, if it's a trilogy, we're gonna have one movie where Revan is good and the hero. We're gonna have a second movie where, Revan is good but does some of the war stuff that is kind of questionable for Jedi to be doing, and then kind of goes away. And then the third movie, Revan's gonna be back evil, and then that's a setup for another one where Revan becomes good again. So
yeah.
it might be more of a 4-movie series rather than just a standard trilogy type thing.
They're gonna fucking Hobbit the fuck out of KOTOR. They're gonna take KOTOR and milk a bunch of movies out of it. That's
Listen. Why do you think that there's not enough source material in Knights of the Old
think
Republic?
I think there is.
In
but
Revan's
like,
in Revan's case, there's enough that Revan did, during the lifespan that you can make 4 movies and be okay.
Look, in my opinion, if they make an original trilogy, or not if they make the trilogy in the Old Republic and they take Revan, they're in a lose-lose situation. Because assuming you follow the KOTOR story very well, people are going to be like, you didn't do anything interesting. If they butcher the canon, or what people think is a canon from those movies and make it something different, people are going to be, you changed stuff. Like, it's a lose-lose. They've proven that they've done so good with new characters that don't exist in the Star Wars universe. Just do more of that instead of like limiting yourself creatively.
In the Star Wars universe right now?
Revan.
Darth Revan.
Plus, there's the fact that because of the video games,
I understand that he's technically not canon, but he exists in the Star Wars universe, and people know who he is. People already have what's the word?
But
they already.
The thing with Revan, because of those games, the way those games are made, they have so much choice based in them that you can go one way or the other. There's not a set line saying this is the line that everybody followed through the games. Everybody kind of meanders through different things. So
yes,
there's a lot more to play with in that regard. So it might not match up to your old playthrough of a game, but they can go, this is the actual story of Revan and how it went down. And I think people would be okay with that, because there's also a ton of Star Wars fans who've never played those games.
Sure.
I want to be real. I think that no matter what Star Wars content they make, there will be mad Star Wars fans, because they are the most insufferable fan base.
100%. There's people who didn't like Rogue One because it, didn't have Jedi and, didn't deal with this, the whole Luke and this stuff is going on. Like, where's the Jedi? It's like, no one gives a shit. Like, come on.
I think wasn't the whole point of Rogue One to make one without Jedi?
Yeah. It's the show that they could.
There's always going to be people that are mad.
Like, what's one of the biggest? Like, what's the biggest ask for Star Wars video games we have right now? Playing as a bounty hunter through the universe, right? That's one of the biggest things people want to see. No Jedi there. Like, so there's more room in this universe to do cool and interesting stories in different genres even than the original, like, action type, movies of the original set. Like, we've got like the cool type of spy noir stuff from Rogue One. We can do like more of a Western feel, like what we're getting with The Mandalorian. Like, there's this room to kind of pull from other genres and things and explore stuff, which I really hope they do. But at the same time, they still have the room to go back to Legends and pull forward, and pull in stories like Revan that might be interesting that people want to see, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to please everybody. They can't please everybody. There's too many people, too many fans with different viewpoints on shit to please everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
100%.
It's too big of a phenomenon for everyone to be happy.
It's true.
So they should just make things that are the best they can possibly make, and people will enjoy them or they won't. And I think overall, if they put the same effort and care that went into Rogue One and it's going into The Mandalorian, I think they're going to be fine with whatever they put out. But yeah, and that's, as Comfy mentioned, let Favreau just do it. Just let the man go.
Listen, the man made the Marvel Cinematic Universe what it is today.
He did.
The man made The Mandalorian what it is so far. Let's let him do it, or I will commit self-destruct.
No. We're gonna be fine.
That is not the way.
Yeah.
This is the way.
All right. So just a bunch of Star Wars nerds. This is welcome to the Star Wars podcast.
Welcome to the Star Wars podcast.
Yeah. So, you guys up to anything interesting?
Have you finished Fallen Order?
I haven't even started. I'm gonna start Fallen Order Oh,
It's
copy.
not my game of the year though. I like the game, but it's not my game of the year.
It's not game of the year, but it's fun.
It's
It's
fun.
what I wanted. It's what I expected.
What
Yes.
What is game of the year for you guys? Just curious.
Game of the year. What games came out this year?
Right now, if I go through all the games I had fun with and factor in things like surprise and stuff like that, Remnant is sitting at the top for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
you know what's sitting at the top for me? Sekiro.
You know, I've like played. What new games have I played? I haven't. Like, I don't. Man. I don't know what games I've played brand new. I guess Borderlands. Borderlands, because it's the only like. Yeah, Borderlands is my.
Yeah.
Borderlands.
I-
Okay.
I still want to try the raid for that too, but
Yeah.
I
as
haven't
that
tried
came
it
out,
yet.
because that is
Yeah.
the thing that came out. If anybody's listening and hasn't tried it, Borderlands has a raid out now.
Yes. So yeah, what are you guys gonna be up to this week? I know it's Thanksgiving, so
It's not Thanksgiving here, so
well, that's because
it
you're
is not a holiday.
from Canada.
Because we have Thanksgiving on the proper Thanksgiving date, which is previous to this.
Mm-hmm.
So for this week, unlike you guys who are going to be having a holiday and time off, I'm going to be just my normal working schedule and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think anything
I'm
comes
gonna
out.
be doing a lot of work.
Oh, comfy cut out.
Sorry. There we go.
That's fine.
I'm
You're
gonna be
back.
doing a lot of work over the
Yeah.
week. I do not have time off.
Yeah.
Next week though, so before we're back together again, Darksiders Genesis comes out, so we'll be trying that.
Ah, wait. What's
yeah,
that? What is that going to be?
mobile
That's going to be.
Top down.
Darksiders Genesis is the ARPG type game, so like an old
Gotcha.
Diablo style like looking game,
Yeah.
so it's that isometric view. Darksiders game where you can either play as War or Strife for the first time.
Interesting. Yeah, I probably won't be playing that. I've never played a Darksiders game. I'm not super interested.
It's
I
on
don't know.
the Origin Game Pass, so because of that, I'll be
Yeah.
playing it for free.
Maybe
There you go.
I might be convinced to try it for that reason because I also have that. Which is
I
how
also
I'm going
saw
to be
the-
playing Star Wars this
yeah.
week because I am off of work Thursday and Friday, and we're not doing any Thanksgiving stuff until the weekend. So I'm going to play a bunch of Star Wars Thursday and Friday.
And I saw the new Need for Speed on there is kind of interesting to try out too, because
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's the one where you can like do whole car decal designs.
Ah.
You can do
designs
that
in the
in all
game,
of them.
So yeah, you can
which
do that in a
is-
lot. So Copper's going to make a bunch of anime waifus and sell them for cash on the internet. There you go.
You can actually do that. That's hilarious.
I know. I know. I'm aware.
Where you can sell them.
Yeah, there's people who will pay you for the designs to do it for them and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because what you
Commission.
can
Okay.
what you can do is basically give them the design in most of these games, either through a save file or you can share. A lot of these games
In
have share
Forza,
functions.
for example, you could just upload it to a workshop and anybody can
Mhm.
download it.
Yep.
That's how I got all of my car designs in Forza.
Same.
All right.
Well, yeah. That's it. Comfy, you just going to be working? Are you going to be checking out any new games or something this week? Or
No, I'm just gonna be doing work.
Yeah.
Don't even have my computer with me. I'm only having my laptop. So-
okay.
If I do anything, it'll be like Borderlands or Destiny stuff.
Cool. All right.
Is Comfy is away from school.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next week's going to be a bye week once again. Don't forget. So we will be coming at you again in 2 weeks with the Konosuba Revisited episode, and it'll be the first 6 of Konosuba, which will be a refresher for all of us, I think. Comfy is a huge Konosuba fan. I
Absolutely.
did not like it the first time we watched it like a year ago. Copper, what did you think of Konosuba? Are you into it?
Oh, I love Konosuba.
Oh, okay.
In
All right. I'm going to be
in
I'm
particular,
probably
my
going to be the...
favorite
You like Darkness,
aside
don't you?
from our main character, Darkness is definitely the way to go.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo.
No,
Okay. Also, 2 episodes of Vinland Saga will be here, and it'll be a good time. We're going to be covering all that. So until then, you guys all have good weeks. Happy holiday if you're celebrating Thanksgiving and stuff like that. And we will see you in the future. Bye.